Hello and welcome to Battle Structure. You ever had this happen? You sprain your ankle one time, and from then on, it just feels, well, unreliable, kind of disconnected. You feel unsteady on it, and maybe you even end up spraining it all over again. This isn't just about having loose ligaments. It's a huge sign that the sensors deep inside your joint have basically gone offline.
So today, we're going to break this down into 3 key parts. First up, we'll dig into why these sensors fail in the first place. Then, we'll walk through the actual logic of how you can recalibrate them. And finally, we're going to tie it all together into a straightforward protocol, along with some really important safety alerts you need to know.
All right, let's jump right in. We're going to start by deconstructing the real reason behind that nagging chronic joint instability. And trust me, once you get this, it's a total game changer.
Okay, think about this. After an ankle sprain, a lot of us feel like our calf is weak. So what do? We start hammering out tons and tons of calf raises. But even after all that work, the ankle still feels wobbly and unstable. So why is that? It's because the real problem isn't the muscle at all. It's that the sensors inside your joint capsule got damaged. Your brain just isn't getting accurate data about where your joint is in space.
And what happens when the brain can't trust the data it's getting? Well, to protect you from getting hurt again, your brain actually puts a governor on your muscle's output. It literally limits how much force you're allowed to generate. This whole process is called neurofeedback inhibition. So get this, you're not actually weak, your own nervous system is actively holding you back.
So what are these sensors we keep talking about? Well, your joint capsule is jam-packed with these incredibly precise little things called mechanoreceptors. You've got Ruffini corpuscles, which act like a GPS, sensing the joint's position and angle. Then you have Pacinian corpuscles, which are like a gyroscope, sensing acceleration and vibration. And finally, there are Golgi tendon organs, which act like a torque sensor, keeping track of tension and load. All of them are constantly sending a stream of real-time data back to your brain, which, by the way, is exactly how you know where your arm is even when your eyes are closed. And here's the thing about these sensors. It's a total use-it-or-lose-it situation. There was this really important study in the Journal of Neurophysiology back in 2006. They found that after just 4 weeks of immobilizing an ankle, the subject's error in sensing their joint's position shot up by over 50%. That research really shows that immobilization doesn't just make your muscle shrink, it basically puts these crucial sensors to sleep. But here's the good news, with the right kind of targeted training, you can wake them back up and seriously upgrade their sensitivity. You can think of it like taking your body's internal sensor resolution from a blurry 720p all the way up to a crystal clear 4K.
So how do we actually do that? How do we fix this? Well, that brings us right to part 2, the actual protocol for recalibrating these neural sensors and bringing them fully back online.
Now, before we get into the drills, let's do a super quick self-test. Just try standing on one leg. Pretty easy with your eyes open, right? Okay, now close them. If you immediately start wobbling all over the place, that's a really clear sign that your proprioception, your internal sense of your body's position, is relying way too much on your eyes to do the work. The very first step to restoring this sense is making sure the nerve can actually slide freely. See, if the nerve is getting snagged up, the signal just can't get through. So here's what you're going to do. Lie down and grab the back of your thigh. Now, slowly straighten your knee and, at the same time, pull your toes back toward you. The moment you feel just a light stretch, that's where you stop. Gently lift your head and hold for just 2 seconds. The feeling you're shooting for is like gently lengthening a rubber band. So how can you tell if the nerve is actually sliding properly? As you're doing the movement, you should feel this really subtle tension ripple that travels from the back of your thigh all the way down to your foot. Now, if you feel anything sharp or a radiating sensation or any numbness, that is your abort signal. That means the nerve is being pinched, not flossed. If that happens, you need to immediately back off and reduce your range of motion. Remember, we're looking for tension, not pain. Okay, next up, we're going back to that single leg stance, but this time it's a training drill. Lift one leg up, bend the knee to about 90 degrees, and then close your eyes. Your body is now completely forced to rely on those Ruffini and Pacinian corpuscles to keep you balanced. You're probably going to wobble and have to put your foot down, and that's totally okay. Every time you lose your balance, just open your eyes, reset, and then immediately close them again. All those tiny little micro adjustments you feel happening in your ankle, that right there is the system waking up. So once you can hold that blind stance for a solid 30 seconds on flat ground, it's time to level up. By moving to an unstable surface, like a cushion or a balance pad, you're basically introducing noise into the system. This forces your sensors to work harder, to refine their signals, and to boost their signal-to-noise ratio. This is exactly how you switch your sensors from their standard setting into a high-gain mode. And for a final drill, we're going to wake up those Pacinian corpuscles, the acceleration sensors. Get into a slight athletic squat. Now have a partner point in a random direction, front, back, left, or right, and your job is to take one explosive step that way and instantly, and I mean instantly, stick the landing. The most important part here isn't how fast you step, it's the instantaneous stabilization. You want to feel that joint just lock in the very moment you land. That requires some seriously rapid deceleration signaling from those sensors.
All right, it's time to put all the pieces together. This last section is all about integrating these drills into a smart, coherent system and laying out the critical safety alerts that you absolutely have to respect. So you can program this entire sequence as a nervous system warm-up before every single training session. You'll start with the nerve glides to clear the pathway. Then you move to the blind single-leg stance for static calibration. And you finish with the reactive directional changes for dynamic calibration. If you do this just 3 to 4 times a week, you'll start to notice a really significant improvement in your body's control and precision.
Okay, now for 2 non-negotiable safety rules. These are the red lines. First, if you feel any radiating pain or numbness during the nerve glides, that's a sign of nerve impingement. You have to reduce your range of motion immediately. Second, if you feel kind of ungrounded or unusually off balance after your training, that's a clear sign of neurofatigue. You must stop and rest for at least 24 hours. Trying to push through that will only set you up for other injuries.
Thank you for watching this explainer. The concepts we've covered today are all based on peer-reviewed literature, like Shacklock's Clinical Neurodynamics and key research in the Journal of Neurophysiology. So what's the big takeaway? If you want to restore control over a joint, you have to start by waking up the sensors. Join us for our next explainer, where we'll cover how to optimize recovery with targeted cold exposure protocols.